You took a donk, by the way. I was really impressed. Sibe took a donk on I did a coaching session on that spot last week, Sibe, and I was trying to talk about how few regs donk in that situation and therefore has quite big impacts in that spot. And Sibe was one of the few guys that actually found the donk, and I was like, with a kind of a, I was like, with a bluff as well, right, Sibe? I think you had like, I won't say we had for the fans, but he had a bluff, and I was like, oh, Sibe. And I was actually, I think I made that one nice, like that. I was like, oh, cool. Palace, did you advise players of the teams to play regs or flush? I would say play whichever one you enjoy, honestly. We'll go for a bet. Insane says, sorry, before I was asking for normal games chips, not flush nitros. Sorry. Would you wanted the $25 like reg speeds? Oh, if you want 25's reg speed, I would say 40 to 60 on party and probably higher on stars. Probably more like 50 to 70. I might be a little bit out of date with the stars reference. Pretty nice river to hit here. Now, General Plus I expect has probably not checked back a queen. Maybe some 7x, maybe some 2x. I'm going to go for a pot here. I think it looks very bluffy. What does it hopefully look like? I think he's mainly got a 2x if I'm honest, but I think that could call. And he could also jam some hands here.
Looks very bluffy. Looks very bluffy.
Is what I'm hoping it looks like. That he takes his king 2 and goes, well, this guy would barrel a lot of equity and he has a lot of gut shots. Real tank and shove. I think General Palazzo is good. I think he's capable here. I think he could probably figures out I don't often have Jack 10 or 10-6 or 6-5. Therefore, I think he's capable of bluffing. We have 2 pair as well, which is certainly something. We are kind of bluff catching. I don't think we should fold it. He definitely has his beat sometimes, but against some guys I'd actually fold here, but I think General's good enough to have bluffs. Yeah, nice. And like, it's not a bad play. I think he's a bit unlucky that we ran into kind of top of the range. But credit to him, I think, because some guys, I would fold that against some guys. So he's almost a bit unlucky that his reputation is is of someone that's quite a good player, and therefore I'm like, sorry. We'll call the king 5. And we'll hit a king or a 5. Here's the plan. Or an ace or a 6. Maverick says, I think about grinding spins, and then I hear Slayer said he went on a 500 bind down something at the 500s. Yes. He did, yes. Slayer, legend of the spin and go games. I think probably might have gone on the biggest downswing of anybody ever. That's maybe true. I think it was an insane amount of money, yeah. So funny because I went on a real upswing, so that's why I use EV deals. That is why I use EV deals, I will say. Where can you get these EV deals? Well, funny you mentioned that. Team 6 of 1 available for all your EV staking requirements. King. No. Inner Ghost Mine says, I think you're probably an entertainer third. Well, a friend, boss, a coach, you know, probably an entertainer, I have to say, for the other one. So lots of options here. We can call, I'm going to try and call, just gives us some interesting post-flop spots. Snap check on a 9-3-4. Now, pretty dry board to snap check on. It's quite intimidating. I'm going to go for a check and let's see how things develop. Nice turn card for our, more of a nice turn card for us. So like the 2x that opponent could have would be like an ace 2 or a king 2. Don't know. Bet to 1.5 pretty quickly. Doesn't suggest to me that it's 10s plus. We have some room to bet here. I'm going to raise. The reason being, I think this is more indicative of a range which is 6x and 5x. So a hand like Jack 6 makes kind of a lot of sense that you would bet the flop and then, yeah. Typically, I wouldn't expect it to be 6-5 also. He snap jams it in. Okay. So, unless this is like King 5 of spades, I think I'm happy with folding. But there wasn't a lot of, let's say, there was a pretty, I'm happy to get the chips in. And it doesn't strike me as being necessarily very bluff happy. Because facing raises on turns is scary. So I'm typically pretty careful if that happens. But we'll just get ace 9, king 9. That's also no 10, no king. ABB button says min raise 80s, but better shove our entire button range in my opinion. I would agree, Annie. I would agree. It's kind of interesting though, because if you think like you get loads of folds when you min raise aces, well, min raise a bluff then, and it's like, yeah, I suppose, but it's complicated, right? Does Team 6-1 talk about players' tendencies and know who the fish are? So I think we definitely talk about player tendencies in terms of population tendencies. We don't talk about specific. We don't like, oh, General Platza is doing this. You know, that's all up to the individual. And I mean, obviously, we encourage guys to work at that because it's an important part of poker to really, really recognize your opponent's tendencies and think about them. What we do is I will often cover a topic, let's say button versus big blind, and I'll say, okay, my population has been check raising this and has been donking this and has been pre-flop through betting this, etc., etc. And then I'll run some no locks and I'll say, okay, against my population, we should probably adjust these parts of our strategies, etc., etc. And just repeat that process in every area of spins to try and give guys not only some of the things they want to look out for in the poker tables, but also I hope we help build up the skill sets of people to be able to kind of keep growing as poker players themselves independently. So it's not just about teaching guys like the way of playing. It's also about, without sounding hopefully too big-headed, we're trying to also try and teach guys how to teach themselves in poker and stay sustainable. King, have I done any of the? Go on, here, King. Good. We'll take the 150. Nice. Queen 5-2, rainbow, really, really, really easy port over c-bet. It's a small in pot, but we'll check. And he says, Tomo, which are the best solves, Judo Wizard or Judo base ones? Sorry, which are the best solves? Oh, sorry, you mean in general? Honestly, they're both sufficient solves. So, but neither are required. Luke Shu, 123. Thank you very much for following. Thank you, Luke Shu. If anyone else is here currently watching and thinks I'd like to follow, or if you currently follow and think, you know what, I've had enough of this channel, it's a load of shite, you can also unfollow. But please don't feel free to follow Luke Shu's process. We're going to call, easy call. All right, reason why good not to bet flop. Also a reason General Platza, nice by the way. I really do rate General Platza. I think he's a very good player who's been playing a lot recently. We'll check. So I think I don't know the answer any in terms of like what is the closest to pure equilibrium or something, or what is solved to a greater degree of accuracy. I think both are absolutely sufficient and fine and will be more than enough. What I really like, by the way, is going for GTO Plus. Is my favorite software. They don't pay me. They should, but and just running all kinds of different simulations yourself, so you can do things. Simple preflop as well, I really like. But like, imagine you can do this thing where we do want to probe some hands, but not sure. And then here again, we have all the area in the world. So I think we will just take our hand like 7-3, 6-3 will probably probe turn. So 7-3, 8-3, 8-4, stuff like that, and probe. And this one, I think, not going to take it. It's going to have a lot of Jack X, Queen X. So we'll jam the 7-5 suited. So yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you what's better, GTO Wizard or GTO Pace. But I would say both are both are great and sufficient for, yeah, everything you need in spins. Next time for the grade. Stop again, please. Focus a bit on cheating your viewer. Sorry. We'll do it next time, Mouton, yeah? I jump in. Some lovely, lovely, beautiful Team 641 Squire emotes there. Beautiful Kyle. I feel like her favourite might be Patrick Antonius, but she won't tell you. It could be. Interesting. Oh, we got a note. Capable of check raise bluff. GP's got a check raise bluff. Flattered here. Now, if they're capable of check raise and bluff, I like this flop. I think. Now, are they really going to fold if we click? Probably not. But do we want them to fold? Probably kind of some hands. Let's go 3 point. You know what? I'm just going to click. Because we can shove to any turn, right? It's not the best turn at all, by the way. But our plan was to click and shove. As long as they don't have Jack 10 or Queen Jack. God, there's a lot of Jack X in their range, isn't there? Now, how can they have Queen 10 or Jack 10? Alright. Maybe I'll go bigger. I watched the first few episodes of High Stakes Poker and saw aces get in versus ace 10 or ace 2, 3, 4, ace 3, 4 Remo. Yes, I did see that. With the... I've forgotten her name, and I've forgotten... Who was it against as well? I've forgotten both people in that hand. You should show the Jamie Gold versus Sammy Farr aces and kings, the best hand of all time. I showed her the Tom Dwan versus Phil Ivey 3-bet pre with 10-9 and just bet against the ace-6 of diamonds, if anyone remembers that hand. Does anyone else, by the way, have a favourite high-stakes poker hand? Get your hands in now. But we've watched a few, but we've kind of been watching the new series. I showed her some of the older stuff. She's not that interested. She likes the newer stuff, I think. So we've watched the last... Since it came back to Poker Go, we've watched them all. Mutual says, is there something special with PO, GTO Plus compared to PO or Simple? I mean, as long as you're able to knock everything. Yeah, no problem. Anything, no lockable is really what I suggest. I really like... PO is absolutely fine. Simple, absolutely fine. Simple is simple pre-flop or simple... so I love simple pre-flop. I'm just used to simple pre-flop. Simple post-flop is probably really good too. I haven't used it. PO, I know is really good. I haven't used it. I've used GTO Plus. I really like it. I like GTO Plus for beginners. I think it's really nice because it really kind of is a good value. And I think if I could recommend complete beginners, like the software to go into, I would actually, for guys who play, I think there's guys who play like $5 games who will like purchase the most expensive solver subscription, and it probably isn't worth it when they could honestly buy Flopzilla for $40 or something and probably do really well at that. As long as you like, no lock-in is key, right? So that's really what we're trying to look for. Okay, take a note of the limp queen button. But any software you can lock, I'm very happy to hear. And it's not the for example, the GTO Base and GTO Wizard and Insta GTO and Lucy GTO. These sort of, let's call them more like classical solvers, which are like, here's the information. They're also very good as well,